The reality is that the changes they're proposing will further destabilize our schools. First, they broke us up to small schools that was supposed to change everything. Then they put us back together as a whole school that was supposed to change everything. Now they're saying we need new administrators and that's supposed to change everything. This is the same process they've been doing. It hasn't worked and it won't work. This is why we don't trust them. It's not an emotional reaction, it's a logical conclusion.
What we want now, we want community-run meetings, real conversations that lead to our questions getting answered without a long, whole speech and not a single question answer or a single answer. We want to put a stop to the process of anyone being able to just come in and propose how our school should be ran. Our education is not a business or a gambling game. We want real information. You cannot expect to give us piece by piece and that's it. We want to know the real intentions in the process.
What we want to stop is the OUSD's plan, because the OUSD administration is coming up with an intention. You're not really taking our views into consideration because the plan is already being started by you. You prove this through initiating the RFP on your own without our consent. You prove this by giving us information last minute. You prove this by giving us beautiful speeches about improving schools while not being honest about what's happened before or what you're really trying to do.
What we want to happen is that students and parents should get stipends to come and write their own plans. We want teachers to get paid time to participate in this planning process too. Fremont should make its own plan. This plan should not be in competition with any other plans. Improving schools should not be about business. It should be about community power. I'm sorry about the inconvenience, but thank you for listening to us.
Okay, thank you very much. So, muchas gracias a los alumnos, porque es muy importante que escuchamos las voces de nuestros jóvenes, porque eso es la razón que estamos aquí, ¿verdad? So I want to thank the young people for starting off the meeting, even though we did not expect it, because it's really important that we hear the voices of them. They are why we're here. So I'm going to just do a quick thing in Spanish and then I'll speak in English. So yo quiero introducirme. Yo soy Mark Triplett, Deputy Superintendente de las escuelas secundarias. Pero antes yo era el director de una escuela aquí en Fruitvale, se llama Urban Promise Academy, o UPA. Y después de 6 años, yo salí de allá y empezó a apoyar otras escuelas aquí en Fruitvale. Y estoy diciendo esto porque esto para mí, esta comunidad es importantísimo. Y yo siento que necesitamos apoyar nuestros jóvenes aquí porque esto es el cargo de nosotros adultos. So I introduced myself. My name is Mark Triplett. I'm the Deputy Superintendent for high schools. Before that, I was the principal at Urban Promise Academy Public School, which is right down the street on East 18th. I was there for 6 years, and after that, I've been supporting schools here in the Fruitvale to continue to improve. I also have 2 daughters in the Oakland Unified School District myself. And I'm here because we need to do the very best for our young people. And I think we cannot be satisfied with anything less than the very best. So, I want to acknowledge that I know that there's a lot of frustration, anger in this room right now. I know that there's a lot of people that feel distrust, that have experienced what they feel is lies from the school district. I know that there's also a lot of people in this room that may be confused about this process. And I know that there's some people in this room that are saying, what took you so long to invite transformation of the school? I want to talk about tonight. What we're going to do is we have a process to hear from you. And we're going to explain, really, try to be very brief in an explanation about the process. And then the most of the time tonight, we really want for you to dialogue and to hear your questions, your concerns, and your ideas. So bear with me while I explain some of what we're here for, and then I want to introduce David Montes de Oca to talk about the call for quality schools, and then we're going to turn it over to you to dialogue about what we need to do here at Fremont. So one thing I heard, and I have heard before, is that the issue around trust. And so I want to be really clear, we are actually not asking you to trust us. There's been a lot of feelings of not trusting, of distrust, of broken promises, and because of that, I'm not asking you to trust us. What I'm asking you to do is participate. Because if you don't participate in this process, and you're doing so tonight, which is fantastic, then we will not have the very best school here at Fremont. So thank you for your participation. I'm going to ask a couple people to review the goals of this meeting. We have some agendas on your table, so please grab an agenda. The first person I'm going to ask to come up and read the first goal of the meeting is Chief of Schools Allenson.
Gain a shared understanding of board policy, historical contents, and relevant background information.
Thank you. And the next goal, Superintendent for High Schools, Kevin Taylor.
Gain a shared understanding of the call for quality schools, purpose, and process.
Disculpa un momento. Yo no entiendo cómo quieres que participemos en tu proceso si no confiamos en ustedes. Por favor, explícame esto.
The gentleman back said he doesn't know how we can participate if we don't trust. And so I can come and tell you what I believe we're going to do and what the intention is, but there's no way that I can force you to trust. Right? I have to show you trust. I have to earn your trust. And I understand that. So that's why we're asking for your participation. So I want to point out on the tables, you have some cards. The yellow card is cards for questions. The other cards we're going to use during discussion. But if at any time you have a question before we get to the question time here, then please write them down because we want to make sure that we get every question. So the agenda is going to be like this. Like I said, we're going to talk briefly, explain the process, and then give you a chance to talk. And the norm that I'd like to ask of us is three things, and they're written back there on a poster, but you might not be able to see it. Number one is one voice, one mic. And that is when one person is talking, that we honor that. The second one is to share the air. And that means that we need to make sure that everybody has a chance to speak. And particularly at tables, I want to make sure that people at tables include everybody at their table in the conversation. And then the last one is seek understanding. We're all trying to understand each other and learn about this process. So I want to answer a couple of things right up front and be really clear because I know there's some questions that have come up and there's some rumors. Number one, this process is not about school closure. We will continue to have students here at Fremont and serve students here at Fremont. Serve these students, not different students, but these students here at Fremont. Fremont is not closing. What is happening is, what we're proposing is school transformation. And we want to explain what that means. I see a question, but I want to encourage you to write the question down, and there will be a time where we're going to have the questions called out. Process because otherwise we're not going to have an effective meeting. We will answer questions, so please put it on the card. The second thing I want to talk about is the rumor about charter schools. So I know a lot of people think that this is a done deal with charter schools. That is not true. This is not a done deal with charters. What this is honestly, what is preferred is that there's a district school on this site. That is the preference. But more than that, what we need to make sure we are doing here is having the very best school here at Fremont. And so if we only limit ourselves to proposals from inside the district, then we are limiting the options. So, if we can come up with a proposal from district people for Fremont, that's really the preference. Another question that I know has come up is around the construction, the facility. And I've heard people feel like there's a rumor that there will, that the building will never be rebuilt because that was promised and people feel like it hasn't happened. So what I want to tell you is that that project is happening. That Fremont, the facility, and I'm going to answer some questions. That project is happening, we're moving forward. And the reason it hasn't happened yet is because we need to make sure that any facility here is based not just on, is not about a building, but is about the academic program. The facility needs to match the very best state-of-the-art academic program that we can have. And so first, we need to identify an academic program, and then we need to build a building to match that program. On your tables, you have, hold on one second.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
On your tables, you have a timeline. This is a timeline around the construction project. And so I just want to point out a couple things. And one on the top, it talks about the call for quality schools. And that's happening right now, starting right now. In the yellow, or excuse me, the orange, is the information about the construction of the facility. And so you can see on there that right now, already what is happening is on-site testing for the facility. But we are not going to design a facility until we have designed a program. Because that would make for the very best school we could possibly have here at Fremont. That would match exactly the best way to serve kids.